Kamaru Usman has sights set on the light heavyweight division after beating Leon Rocky Edwards for the second time. He says Jiri Prochazka, Jan Blachowicz, Glover, whoever is there in the light heavyweight division for the number one pound for pound MMA fighter in the world to fight, Usman is willing to do so. We already know he's not going to go to the middleweight division and fight his African brother, as you can say, in Israel Adesanya. It's never going to happen. He already beat Colby twice. If he does actually beat Leon this time, that'll be 2 wins there. He's already beat Gilbert Burns. Vicente Luque's coming off a loss. Thompson's coming off a loss. Jorge's coming off a loss. Belal has a fight scheduled. Hamzat probably going to fight Colby. So in the meantime, I don't know. I'm not saying it can happen. I'm not saying it should happen. I'm just saying this is what Usman says he wants to happen, is moving from, let's think about it for a second, from 170 pounds to, wait for it, 205 pounds. I guarantee you Usman barely walks around 205. It could be more, it could be less, but it's barely around the 205-pound limit. Like, the size difference for Kamaru Usman to go up to light heavyweight and fight one of the biggest light heavyweights I have ever seen. This dude looked huge compared to the number one contender, Glover Teixeira. Imagine what Jiri is going to look like compared to Usman. We saw the Jan Blachowicz Usman comparison, but Yuri's a lot bigger than Jan, Glover, Rakic, all of these guys. Yuri's freaking huge, man. So if Usman really does decide to go, wait for it, 35 pounds up weight classes to 205 pounds, he's going to get freaking destroyed. Pound for pound or not, you can make the argument he's the best pound for pound fighter in the world. I still think it should be Alexander Volkanovski. Whatever you think about that, pound for pound does not matter, and it does not really come into play when you are moving 35 freaking pounds. Maybe if you're going up 15 pounds, maybe if you're going down 15 pounds, that pound for pound argument could come in place. But if he loses to Jiri Prochazka, that's not going to make Jiri the pound for pound best MMA fighter in the world. It's not going to freaking happen. Because he's freaking huge. This is not a fight that should be even sanctioned by the UFC, let alone cross the mind of Kamaru Usman. He should stay down in the welterweight division, fight Leon Edwards, and then fight maybe a Hamza Chimaev, maybe a Shavkat Rakhmonov. These fights are good money fights. If Colby beats Hamza, boom, got a third fight with Colby. Yeah, you've already beat him twice, but we saw Alexander Volkanovski, Max Holloway. That was a banger of a fight. I would love to see Usman versus Colby 3. And if Colby loses and Hamza wins, well, there you go. We got Hamza Chimaev versus Usman. We have good money fights in the welterweight division, and you're talking about goddamn, you're talking about going up to light heavyweight? Huh? What? It don't make no damn sense. Look at this. The whole frame of Jan Blachowicz is bigger. He's taller. His legs are bigger. His torso is bigger. He's got a longer reach. He's way bigger. This would be a decently close matchup, but if you go up to like Glover, Teixeira, Jiri Prochazka, they're gonna freaking start mopping the floor with Kamaru Usman. So I think this is a stupid statement. Sights set on light heavyweight after I beat Leon Edwards. It's a stupid. It's just a dumb thing to say for Kamaru Usman. That's like me challenging the MMA guru for a fight. I might be the more technical striker. I might be pound for pound the better fighter. But if I go up 300 pounds, which would be the case with me and the MMA guru, from 135 pounds to about 435 pounds, I'm going to get freaking sat on And the size difference is just going to be crazy. Same thing is here with Usman and Jiri. I don't... What are you doing? What are you doing, Usman? What are you doing? All right, that's the first story we got for the day. What is Usman doing, man? Comment down below. What the is Usman doing? Comment down below. Kamaru Usman and Alexander Volkanovski on the pound-for-pound MMA rankings. Now we go up. You see, number 1, Kamaru Usman. Number 2, Alexander Volkanovski. They have a similar amount of title defenses. They're both guys that are kind of lapping their opponents over and over and over again. Whereas Alexander Volkanovski has fought Max Holloway so many freaking times. And if Brian Ortega wins this weekend, he might even do a rematch with him. It kind of seems like the same thing is happening with both dominant pound-for-pound best fighters in the world in Volkanovski and Kamaru Usman. But that's not what we're talking about today. Today what we're talking about is Michael Bisping putting Volkanovski above Usman on the pound-for-pound rankings. Now, of course, the UFC doesn't have it that way, but do I have it that way? As a great mind in the MMA sphere, what do I think about this? Does Volkanovski deserve the claim as the number 1 pound-for-pound MMA fighter in the world? These are my thoughts. Yes. Yes, he is the number 1 pound-for-pound MMA fighter in the world. I'm going to say it one more time. He is the best pound-for-pound MMA fighter in the world. Kamaru Usman got rocked badly against Colby Covington. I personally think he loses to up-and-coming prospects like a Shavkat Rakhmonov, and I don't think he's as well-rounded as Alexander Volkanovski. You're thinking of pound for pound, you're looking at the full mixed martial artist. This is the first argument that I'm going to make, is that Kamaru Usman is mainly a boxer, a clincher, and a wrestler. Has not really used the wrestling, uses more of the clinching and the boxing in most recent of his fights. Whereas Volkanovski is showing everything. He is showing how good he is in every facet of the game. He is the best boxer in the UFC's featherweight division. He's the best kicker in the featherweight division. You might disagree. You might say Giga Chikadze, one of those type of guys. I guarantee you if Volkanovski and Giga Chikadze had a kickboxing match, I guarantee you Volkanovski's going to win that fight. Wrestling-wise, he has one of the best in that welterweight division. He can go out there and take down almost anyone, which I think is pretty even to that of Kamaru Usman, where he's kind of even with everyone, or he is better than everyone in wrestling. So wrestling will give it pretty even in terms of pound-for-pound skills. Jiu-Jitsu, we're going to go damn Alexander Volkanovski, because Usman's been submitted before, and he's never shown any grappling or submissions and things like that, whereas Volkanovski is defending submissions from Brian Ortega that are so deep, and he's getting out of that type of stuff. So just based off of that would lead you to believe that Volkanovski is the number 1 pound-for-pound fighter in the world. But we got one more thing, in that Usman is having close fights with Colby Covington. Whereas we look at these pound-for-pound rankings, where is Colby? I mean, I personally think Colby Covington should be at like number 7. Like he should be way up here in the pound-for-pound rankings. I don't know why he's not on the pound-for-pound rankings. He should be at least above someone like, I don't know, Dustin Poirier. He's definitely pound-for-pound better than Dustin Poirier. I don't know why he's not on there. But I think Max Holloway and Colby Covington, in terms of pound-for-pound skill and things like that, and where they are in their careers as that number 1 contender that keeps on losing to their champion, they're in that similar boat. But Colby Covington is having so much closer fights with Usman recently than Volkanovski. The last fight for Colby against Usman was really close. It was very close. You can make the argument Colby might have actually won that fight. Volkanovski just 50-45, a top 10 pound-for-pound MMA fighter in the world. He 50-45'd him. And Volkanovski, betting odds-wise, would be a huge favorite to go down to the bantamweight division to fight Aljamain Sterling. The betting odds with him and Charles Oliveira are the second best Islam Makhachev has the best odds when it comes to fighting Charles Oliveira, as in he is a 2-1 favorite, whereas the second best odds is Volkanovski as a very, very slight underdog. Poirier would be a very big underdog against Charles Oliveira. Gaethje's going to be a good underdog. Chandler's going to be a good underdog. Dariush, Fiziev, Dos Anjos, these guys are going to be good underdogs against Charles Oliveira. And Volkanovski is showing to have 50-50 odds with the champion in the weight class above him, and to be like a minus 500 favor over someone like Aljamain Sterling. Like, there's so many arguments to be made with him moving up or down weight classes and saying that he legit can beat the guy below him fairly easily, and he's got a 50-50 shot to beat the guy above him. Same cannot be said for Usman. Pound for pound means you can go up a division and win there, you can go down a division and win there. I think Usman could possibly go down to lightweight if he can suffer enough to go down to the lightweight division and maybe beat Oliveira, but he can't go up and beat Adesanya. That'll never happen. He's never gonna go out there and beat Israel Adesanya, whereas Volkanovski has a legitimate chance to go out there and beat Charles Oliveira right there. So that's one of the arguments. The second one is he's beating his number 1 contender and number 2 contender and freaking number 7 contender way better than Usman is beating his number 1 contender, number 4 contender, number 8 contender, and things like that. I mean, Usman's having some good performances and things like that, but in terms of fighting the next best guy in that division, Volkanovski's doing it way better, and he's dominating those type of guys. So, argument could be made. You could still possibly say Usman's better pound for pound, but we laid it out. I mean, kicking game is better. Boxing is pretty even, pound for pound. Wrestling's pretty even, pound for pound. And he's got jiu-jitsu advantage, pound for pound. And then he's beating his contenders better than Kamaru Usman is. And he's also more likely to go down a division or up a division and regain a title more than Usman. So I agree with Michael Bisping. Volkanovski, sorry, but I had a little burp there. Volkanovski, number 1, pound for pound. Oliveira issues a warning to Alexander Volkanovski. Now, what is this warning right here? He says, Oliveira advises Volkanovski to think hard about moving to the lightweight division, and this is the actual quote we have from the 155 champ. He's a very tough guy, and I know he has made history at 145, but everybody who thinks about moving up to 155 has to think very well, because it's a very, very hard division. Oliveira warned. Oliveira is currently at the number 1 contender after missing weight and moving down from champion to number 1 contender, but of course, we got Volkanovski calling for the title shot. Oliveira will probably be open to it after, a few more fights with Islam Makhachev, with Conor McGregor, and things like that. Once that is settled, and once Volkanovski beats like a Josh Emmett, Yair Rodriguez, boom, we got a perfect fight with Volkanovski and Charles Oliveira, and I think it's pretty much a coin flip onto who would win this fight. I lean towards Charles Oliveira to win the fight by a decision, but let me know down below. You got Oliveira, you got Volkanovski, and do you think Volkanovski should listen to this warning from Charles Oliveira? Put your thoughts down below. In the lightweight and featherweight division, Dana White donating $250,000 as a gift to one of the Nelk boys right here. We got a little bit of a video. If you want to see the full clip, go to their Twitter or whatever. I don't know why it's not letting me really press it, but the video right here is Dana White is literally giving $250,000 in cash to a guy in the Nelk Boys. Kyle from the Nelk Boys right here is getting $250,000, and we got UFC fighters that are pissed. Oh my god, they are freaking pissed. Let's look at a few of these damn comments. Louis Smoka, a UFC bantamweight and flyweight. When we starting a union, boys? We got Alan Jouban, former UFC fighter, now retired. I think everyone involved in the UFC would love a surprise $250,000. But what Dana does with his personal money is up to him. That is true. We got Dan Hardy. Retweet if you think Uncle Dana should give all the UFC's top 15 ranked fighters $250,000. We got John Fitch, former UFC fighter. He's giving away the money he stole from fighters. He didn't really steal it, you know what I'm saying? Aljamain Sterling, dope. My birthday's July 31st in about, 18 and 19 days. Can't wait to see what Dana gets me. He's gonna get you a paper belt. I'm obviously joking, Aljo, but you can see there's a little bit of tension here from the UFC fans and things like that, and UFC fighters and things like that too. The Dana Whites. What do y'all think? Do you guys think Dana White should give more money to the UFC fighters? Do you think this $250,000 gift was warranted? Do you think that $250,000 should have gone to fight bonuses for the next UFC fight card? Put your thoughts down below. Nate Diaz, I have rejected historic UFC offers while being held hostage by the UFC. Nate Diaz confirms he does want out of the UFC. Now, this video right here we can't show on YouTube. We'll get copyrighted by Ariel Smelwani. But you know the deal with YouTube and Ariel Smelwani. You know what I'm saying. But he made a video earlier today on MMA fighting on SBN. Nate Diaz, UFC holding me hostage, and I want out. It's a 20-minute video. Put it at double speed right here. Go right there. You go double speed so you don't have to hear Nate Diaz like every 20 seconds. You could go over there and do that. But if you want to watch the full video, go ahead and go watch it. But the main, points that I gathered from it, because I just watched the whole entire video before hopping on this video that I'm making right now. He says they don't want me out of contract and they're keeping me in. They're holding me hostage, Diaz said, and I want out. That is my main objective here, and it's been a big objective of mine since before I fought Benson Henderson in 2012. So that means the man wanted to leave the UFC in 2012. What? For the last 5, 6, 7 months, however long it has been, when I'm asking for a fight, they offer me more money, they offer me more money, and they offer me more money. And I'm at a point in my career, I don't want any more money. I just want to depart. I'm over the whole UFC roster as of right now. All the guys think they can offer or what I'm asking for. Everybody has been used and abused. It's a recycled division. Lightweight and welterweight, all recycled guys. I feel like there's no worthy opponents for me at the moment, so I would like to step out for a while and recover from this whole and when the time is right, when there's a whole new batch of guys doing something good, that's when I'll be back, Anderson Silva. Now, we got some offers right here. Nate Diaz shares massive pay offers from the UFC amid the hiatus. The money that they're offering me right now, they've been offering. They offered me 5 offers ago. More money than any fighter in the UFC ever, Diaz said. And before the offer, I was getting paid more than any other title holder. Anybody, anyone, maybe not Connor, but that's a different story. But I'm like, I don't want no more money. I want to go and I want to do different stuff. What do y'all think about this situation personally? I think Nate Diaz is ducking a lot of the guys in the top of the division. Obviously, recently we saw him fight the number 2 contender in Leon Rocky Edwards right there. But he was offered an actual fight with Khamzat Chimaev in the UFC, and he turned it down. I mean, obviously, it's not an ideal fight for Nate Diaz to have in the UFC or anything like that, but that was the fight that was offered. He could have taken the fight and left the UFC immediately after. So if he truly did want out of the UFC, all he's got to do, take on the boogeyman, Khamzat Chimaev. But what do y'all think about this situation? Do you guys think that Nate Diaz will get cut from the UFC? Maybe he'll have one last hurrah and fight with Conor McGregor, Poirier, Khamzat, I don't know. Or maybe they just cut him and he fights Jake Paul. Put your thoughts down below in the UFC's welterweight division. But that is it for today's MMA news. We got Nate Diaz rejecting offers by the UFC. I mean, he's talking about leaving the UFC, trying to quit the UFC, not getting any offers from the UFC. I mean, a lot of crazy stuff. If you want to go watch that video, it is a 20-minute video on MMA fighting on YouTube. We also had fighters crying foul on Dana White getting $250,000 to one of the Nelk boys. We got Usman saying Volkanovski is not a threat to the pound for pound rankings. Absolutely insane. We got Charles "Du Bronx" Oliveira, the actual champion of the lightweight division, saying I'm going to give you a little warning here, Volkanovski. Don't come up to lightweight, a tough-ass division, and that is pretty much the gist of that one. We got Volkanovski as the better pound-for-pound MMA fighter, according to Michael Bisping and according to myself. And we also have the last but not least story in Usman talking about moving up to the light heavyweight division, 205 freaking pounds. Like, come on. Those are the MMA stories for today. If you guys have any more MMA stories you would like me to cover, make sure to link them down in the comment section below. DM me on Instagram, Burt_MMA, and send me any videos, any, any articles like this you would like me to react to, whatever the case may be. Comment down below, DM me, make sure to like, make sure to subscribe, and we'll see you in the next one.